I love murder. I also love cartoons, just not as much as murder. So let's combine them. That's one of those few things you can always count on in life. So obviously I was going to find its way in animation. And I decided to highlight 5 cartoon deaths that stuck with me. Whether it be funny, shocking, sad, just memorable in some way. And I'm not alone though. Well, I am, but I also have a friend here.
Hi Stripe, thanks for inviting me. For those of you who don't know, I'm Pigwars, the best video essayist in the world. Okay, maybe not the best, but you know, I'm definitely top 10, top 20, top 1,000. Yeah, I'm top 1,000. Anyway, let's get into the rankings. Stripe, since this is your list, why don't you go first?
Enough dilly-dallying, let's kill some 2D images. Pretty well known that old cartoons are pretty dark. A good 90% of them just throw in Satan because, why not? Usually though, it's just spooky imagery that makes these dark, not like, you know, murder. Death is pretty rare on these because they run entirely on toon logic. Doesn't mean they won't play with the idea of death though. Take the Popeye short Happy Birthdays for example. In it, Popeye starts a guy killing himself. You know, good old family-friendly Popeye. It's because he's the only sailor to not get love letter. However, right before he shoots himself, Popeye talks him out of it and offers him to come to his birthday party. It goes very well. And by very well, I mean very bad. Shorty constantly messes up and tries to shoot himself, usually being stopped by Popeye and Olive Oil, and finally builds to Olive saying she never wants to see Popeye again. Shorty though, he finally realizes his true purpose. He is Popeye's best friend, and he's so happy to celebrate his birthday. Popeye shoots him. That's the super positive Sailor Man we all know and love. I don't know what to say here. The main character of a cartoon just murdered an innocent guy. Obviously, cartoons in this era are much different from the ones we have now, but still. In the old show, Popeye is a pretty good guy, all things considered. Seeing him just flat out shoot a guy? Dark. But hey, you am what you am. A murderer.
So, Teen Titans is a popular show, and throughout its 5-season run, we were introduced to many great characters, but none were as memorable as Terra. Starting out as a friend to the team, and even a love interest to Beast Boy, it seemed she was the new 6th member and was here to stay. But right when she fully accepted into the team, it was revealed she was working with Slade, and her turn towards evil was set in stone. Pun intended. However, her friendship with the Titans, and more so her love for Beast Boy, kept her staying a hero, and ultimately sacrificing herself to save not just the Titans, but Jump City in its entirety and take down Slade. And for the rest of the show, her sacrifice stays a reminder to the Titans about heroism. However, in the final episode, Terra comes back, at least supposedly, and leaves a new mystery that will 100% definitely be explained in Season 6 of the show. Right? We're gonna get an explanation, right?
Bill Cipher has got to be one of my favorite villains of all time. Him perfectly switching from being comedic relief to destroying the entire town is truly awe-inspiring. He's what all giant eyeballs strive to be. He's also ridiculously strong. Ford claims he can destroy the multiverse, and he was able to kill the entire Time Force with a single point. That kind of leads to a problem with scaling, since he's so much more powerful than the rest of the cast. They tried nerfing him by making him unable to affect the rest of the world, then by being forced to sing Gravity Falls, but he overcame the first one, and the second one doesn't stop him from being able to kill the heroes, so something needs to be done with him. But how can you kill a being so unbelievably strong? What can Dipper do with his little noodle arms? Somehow they found a way around it. In the final episode, Bill is right at the finish line. He's revived his friends, obtained a physical form, and is so close to breaking the weirdness barrier. Ford is the only one who knows how to, but he refuses to tell. That is, until Bill is about to kill Dipper and Mabel. Ford finally decides to let Bill into his brain, and he finds nothing. Just an empty room and Stan, Ford's brother. It was all a trick. The two swap clothes so Dipper and Mabel could erase Stan's mind and kill Bill once and for all. Throughout the entire show, Bill has always been 6 steps ahead of everyone. He's been playing Armageddon for literal centuries, and everything he's done was to reach his goal of world domination. Now, after 2 seasons of Bill Fortnite default dancing and faces everyone, the main crew get to finally dab on his literal grave. Bill is constantly shown to be a physical threat, so it's satisfying to see him completely powerless. Bill tries to make a deal with Stan and even tries to escape, but before he can, the room catches fire, the memory-raising gun already being fired, and Bill slowly starts to disintegrate as he tries his hardest to overpower the gun. But Stan comes in and finally ends his reign in terror once and for all, leaving nothing but a statue. Or did he? Before Bill kicks the bucket, he speaks backwards, saying, Axolotl, my time has come to burn. I invoke the ancient power that I may return. This obviously refers to the god of Gravity Falls. Giant Axolotl. Really. It's speculated that the Axolotl could revive Bill, so he could very easily come back to life, but for now, he'll rip in peace. Well, not in peace, since he's a statue, but shut up.
1999's The Iron Giant is phenomenal. It's a masterclass in movie history, and I love it. A story full of childlike wonder, great animation, and murder. In this film, we see the Iron Giant learn about what life is like, and we see his views on stuff. He befriends a young boy named Hogarth, and we see how he evolves as a character. All around, it's a really interesting story and one of my favorite films. He makes friends, learns about Superman, and enjoys himself. However, he witnesses gun violence and feels ashamed. This all culminates in the government sending a nuke at him. In a kids movie, they send a nuke at the main character! And the Iron Giant sacrifices himself to save Hogarth and the town he grew to love. It's actually really sad considering just how lighthearted most of this film is. This is a film about a kid and a robot hiding out from the government, and then it just takes a turn and kills our main hero. And then, just like Tara, it's hinted maybe he's not dead. But, you know, it's still really emotional, really heartfelt, and this movie rocks.
Really, the show has a pretty weird relationship with death. Main characters like Skips and Ribby actually die and get revived in the series. High Five Ghost is a literal ghost, but he's apparently born as one, and it's hinted that he's able to die. Death himself is a recurring character, and he himself dies in the series finale. It's pretty wacky. It finally ramps up in the finale, and the struggle between Pops and Anti-Pops. Pops throughout the show has been the sweetest thing in the world. He's always kind, helpful, and pacifistic. It's revealed in the final season, though, that he's actually a god, the chosen form of all the good in the world, and is destined to fight his evil half, Anti-Pops, who really should have been named Popposite, and is the manifestation of all evil in the world. And they fight every 14 billion years to reset the universe. Throughout the final season, Pops is constantly trying to reason with his brother so that they can solve this non-violently, and every time he does it, Anti-Pops tries to kill him. He just won't listen. Anti-Pops ends up killing all of Pops' friends besides Mordecai and Rigby. And right before he can finish the job, Pops finally takes a stand. Kind of. It's hard to do pacifistic characters in stories like this, because you need them to fight, and Anti-Pops is a threat. If he's not stopped, he will kill everything in the universe, so we need to be stopped. But instead of fighting, Pops does what he does best. He hugs Anti-Pops. He tries to reconcile with his brother, and tells him that he'll be there for him. Anti-Pops finally realizes the error of his ways, apologizes for all of his atrocities, his murders, his resets, and his one-star reviews of restaurants he's never been to, and hugs his brother back. They both fly into the sun, ending the universal resetting, and letting everyone just live their lives. While Pops wasn't my favorite character in the show, I believe in High Five Ghost Supremacy, Pops was a lot of fun. So seeing him go is quite sad. But I love that they kept true to his character. They didn't just suddenly turn into a murderer, and even the nice little resolution for Anti-Pops was a nice touch. What better way to show Pops really the nicest guy ever than to literally reform the embodiment of evil? You will believe that you will cry over the death of a lollipop in Evil Mr. Game & Watch. Jolly good show, everyone.
Been all over town.
I love Arcane. Like, it is a perfect show. Not my favorite show, but in my opinion, it's flawless. So when me and Stripe were working on this video, I knew I needed to talk about it. So what better to talk about than the death of the villain, Silco. Now, Silco was an evil, smart, and powerful threat that our heroes had been facing all season. He had released chaos in Dazan like never before, and was the head of the revolution against Piltover. But his one big flaw, his big weakness, was his adoptive daughter, and the character I sent for most, Jinx. Near the end of the season, he can get everything he ever wanted, if he gives away Jinx. And he doesn't know what to do, but it's too late. Jinx, believing he was gonna turn her in, captures him and she captures her sister Vi, along with her sister's girlfriend. Cause let's face it, Vi and Caitlyn are gay for each other. Jinx sits them down at the dinner table, and after one of the most intense and dark arguments on screen I've ever seen, Silco grabs a gun and tries to kill Vi, but instead gets shot down by his own daughter. But the real tragedy of the scene isn't that he's dying, but that he would have never given Jinx up. Not even for his dream. He loved her more than anything, and he was willing to let his dreams go away to keep her safe.
Been all over town.
You know what I like? Dogs. Dogs are nice. Dogs are great. Dogs make me happy. There's just one problem with that though. 99% of media knows I love dogs, and they are heck bent on exploiting that fact. I just fully expect whenever I see a dog that are going to get hit by a car. I'm here watching up and just waiting for a dog to get old yellered. You can't pull the wool over my eyes, motherfricker! You can argue with what started this, but the first one to really hit me was Futurama. Futurama is usually quite a goofy show, but when it wants to metaphorically kick you in the balls, it's going to make sure it's wearing cleats too. In the episode Jurassic Park, Fry finds the remains of his dog, Seymour, and considers driving him. He decides against it since he finds out that his beloved pupper actually lived for 12 years after Fry mysteriously disappeared. So Fry just assumes he lived a great, fulfilling life. He very much did not. For 12 straight years, Seymour did nothing but sit down in front of the pizza place. Why? Because Fry told him right before he got frozen to stay there and wait for him. So he did. For over a decade. Seymour was so close to getting his original owner to realize what happened to Fry, yet he was denied. He never gave up hope, continuing to walk in the sunshine, but it only ended up getting him burned. Please stop killing dogs and shows. This is a public service announcement.
Been all over town.
So, Darth Maul is on the list. Now for you casual Star Wars fans out there, you may think Darth Maul died during Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, but you would be very, very wrong. During the amazing run of Star Wars The Clone Wars, the 2008 show, not the original 2D animated show, which is also pretty cool, Dave Filoni did the unthinkable. He brought back Darth Maul. And now, with cool spider legs! And since then, Darth Maul has grown and grown in popularity, even returning to live action in Solo. But this is a video about animated characters' death, isn't it? Well, lucky for you, Star Wars had a sequel. Star Wars The Bad Batch. Wait, hold on one second. Okay, so no, we're not talking about The Bad Batch today. Today we're talking about Star Wars Rebels. And in this show, Darth Maul meets his final fate as he fights Obi-Wan Kenobi one more time. And to keep things short, let's just say Maul doesn't make it out alive. The duel itself is why I really love this character's death. After decades of chasing down Kenobi, he finally has his chance for revenge. But he's overwhelmed with how arrogant he is and how much he wants his revenge that he doesn't see Obi-Wan is ready to strike him down, and he tries to use the same move he did to kill Qui-Gon Jinn. He feels it would make him even better. Obi-Wan, seeing this coming, slices him down. And that's the end of Darth Maul. It is really cool.
Been all over town.
I don't know if Pigwars is doing honorable mentions, but shut up, here you go. Sarah Lynn from BoJack Horseman. One of the more serious ones here, but left it off since it was off screen. The Air Nation from Avatar. One of the first times I've seen genocide in a kid's cartoon. It's also the reason for Aang to go into the Avatar state for the first time. Again, left off for being off screen. Kenny from South Park. Kenny dying is a running gag in the show, but there was a time where he finally died permanently, and it was treated pretty seriously. Even Cartman was sad. Excluded because he was revived. Hot Dog Water from Mystery Inc. This is a kid's show where Kimi gets shot in the face by a Nazi robot. Again though, she was revived. X-49 from Samurai Jack. I already talked about him in my anti-villain list, and I don't think I can improve on that. Scooter from SpongeBob. Hands down the single saddest moment in any piece of media. This shocking piece of cinema has driven fully grown men to break down like little babies. Excluded because nothing could compete with this heartbreaking moment. Finally, I should note that I intentionally excluded anime and movie characters. Anime was because I'm just not well versed enough to confidently include them, but if I did, I really wanted to include Chili from Kuribakaya because I needed Kirby rep, but frick you. As for anime movies, I had to exclude them because if I didn't, this entire list would just be animated movie characters. But I can still give a quick nod to a handful, and those handful of being Mufasa, Littlefoot's mom, Bambi's mom, Charlotte, the fairy godmother, Ray, Ellie, Bing Bong, Coral, Optimus Prime, Rasputin, Clayton, and a Toon Shoe.
Oh, honorable mentions? Okay, well, let's see. A few honorable mentions I'd like to shout out are Batgirl from Batman the Animated Series, Marnie from When Marnie Was There, Kanan Jarrus from Star Wars Rebels, Tony from Rick and Morty, and Jason Todd from Batman Under the Red Hood. All of which are also pretty emotional animated deaths. And, while not on this list, I think you guys should all check out.
Been all over town.
Infinity Train starts as 11 for Darkness and just keeps wrapping it up. In book 1, it's about Tulip dealing with her parents' divorce and the main villain Amelia trying to cope with the death of her husband. In book 2, it's more existential. It's about what it truly means to be human and alive. And there's a pretty graphic murder of one of the two villains of the season. If these were humans, this would be rated R like Christ. The first 2 books, though, do have their really light episodes and happy endings. Book 3 does not pull any punches. I mean, yeah, there's still Best Boy Randall and some other silly moments, but a good 90 or so % of the season is quite twisted. This season focuses on the Apex, a thief and general shenanigan makers made of mostly young kids and their leaders, Grace and Simon. At the start of the show, Simon seems to actually be a pretty decent guy, all things considered. He's a lot more open to the other members of Apex, compared to Grace who lies to their faces, and he just wants to have fun. That is until he and Grace get separated from the Apex and meet up with Hazel, a young girl, and Tuba, a gorilla. More specifically, Tuba is Edison, basically any being that was created by the train itself. And Simon has hatred for them because one of them, Samantha the cat, abandoned him. This is also why he hates adults and basically anything that isn't the Apex. Simon argues with Grace to leave the two, but they decide to keep them both around until they can ditch Tuba and have Hazel join them. Throughout the show, it's revealed more and more Simon's true colors. Even after Tuba saves Simon and fully gets her trust, Simon murders her right in front of Hazel, who's basically Tuba's adopted daughter. It's then revealed that Hazel is actually a turtle, as you do. In other words, she's a Edison. Grace tells Hazel that he won't tell Simon the truth in fear of him killing her like he did with Tuba, but tensions continue to build with the three as Simon's hatred of Edisons and adults continues to build. Until not only does he find out the truth about Hazel, but also that his own best friend was lying to him. Simon finally snaps. He traps Grace in a loop, forcing her to see her lies for the rest of her life. She escapes, but returns to Apex, only to find that Simon has turned the group against her and set himself up as a ruler. Grace tries raising with Simon, but he doesn't listen. It ends with Simon nearly falling to his death, but at the last second, Grace saves him. As payment for this heroic act, Simon kicks her off the train. He's snapped. His entire body lights up with numbers. The more numbers you have, the more you need the train to fix you. And Simon has basically become the Matrix opening. He laughs madly until Anam, a mindless monster that can suck the soul of their victim, comes in and... Wow. Infinity Train can obviously be quite dark, but the disintegration of a teen, showing every single part of his body cease to exist, including his skeleton, until it's nothing. Everything about this scene is fantastic. The build-up, the bait and switch of thinking Simon's gonna get redeemed, and of course the death itself. It's hands down the best death I've seen in a cartoon. Even after Grace survives the kick, she's remorseful towards Simon, and tries to change the Apex to make sure nothing as bad as Simon's downward spiral ever happens again.
Oh yay, number 1! I wonder who this could be. I bet it's someone who you would never guess. But who? Okay, so yeah, number 1 is Fern the Human from Adventure Time. Wow, big shock, the guy I based my profile picture off of is the guy at the top of this list. Who knew? But anyways, Fern the Human is amazing. He's a great character in a great show. In fact, my favorite character ever in Adventure Time. Or any show, really. Adventure Time is just amazing, and I love Fern. And one of the reasons I love him is his death. So, let's talk about it. The grass demon, who started out as a goofy joke, then became a murderous copy, now lies at the feet of Finn. The two have all the same memories, as Fern used to be Finn, sort of. But Fern got jealous, and tried to kill Finn. Instead, he was turned into a pawn for the Gumball Wars, and had to face the evil within him. However, all of this led to his death. He lays next to Finn, and he removes his hood, reminding the audience of when he did that, and we see his hair once again. The flowers are now dusting away, and he dies, having redeemed himself, becoming a hero once more, and fades away into nothing more than a seed for the next generation of heroes. If that ain't good writing, I don't know what is.
Well, that was depressing. Have a good day, bye!
Someday I will have your immortal soul.